Making waves with the Hen Hood class of 85 and friends.
Welcome back to Making Waves with the Hen Hood class of 85. I'm your co-host and your hometown homie, Dave San Marco, along with the host of this joint with the blonde hair, Diane D. Money Malice Fantoni.
Hey guys.
What's up, girl?
Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's surviving the weather, wherever you may be. A little crazy.
Tom was able to coach the weather away, is what it seems like. Let me give a shout out to my co-host representing Scotland. Put your hands together for Stuart Muir.
Oh, that's still such a terrible accent, dude. Still terrible.
You know what? I appreciate the emotional support. I really do.
Speaking of Scottish, I just want to tell you, I was at my son's soccer game yesterday, and both coaches were from Scotland, both from Glasgow. It was beautiful.
Oh, my God. Did you go up and talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to them. I've talked to Tyler's coach before, but not the – well, we beat the team so badly, I didn't want to bother the coach after the game. So, but it was nice to hear two screaming, crazy Scotchmen on the sidelines yelling at kids. It was beautiful.
I love it. I love it, man. They need to know that you're an original gangster. Let's say hello to my other co-host, the former longtime educator and assistant men's basketball coach at SUNY New Paltz. Put them hands together for Mr. Thomas T. Bell, the king of pickleball in South Carolina.
I'm getting there.
Yes. All right, so before we bring on our guest who is backstage, I can see him. He's looking dapper. He's looking cool. We expected no less. We've had a loss in the community, a very special individual, and to speak about that individual who's been authorized by his son, a friend of ours from Hen Hud, who was a year younger than us, named Ken Sherman, somebody whom I admired then and I admire now. T-Bell, take it away, sir.
Yeah, so I got a text from my brother John about 3 or 4 days ago that Mr. Sherman, Ken Sherman Sr., had passed away. And it kind of really struck a chord with me. I mean, we've all, most of us have been gone through this with losing a parent here or there, or some of us are lucky to still have some, but mine are both passed away. But Mr. Sherman was just a great guy. And if you grew up in the Buchanan area, that guy was just an icon, a legend. Everybody knew him. He was a great man. Him and his wife were married for 67 years. He served in the military, phys ed teacher out in Lakeland School District for a number of years. And he had some other side dealings going on with cars and other things. But in speaking to Ken, man, I said this on air before we came on air. Just an era when men were men, like this guy did it all. He just did it all. And part of that great generation of men. And he was 90 years old. Like I said, married for 67 of those years. His wife still survives at home. All 3 children survive as well. And I just said to Ken, it would really mean a lot to me to say something on his behalf. And I just wanted to get that in there. I'm not going to take too much time. But if you haven't reached out to Ken or if you have a way to reach out to Ken, I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. Him and I talked for about 10, 15 minutes on the phone the other night. And just a great guy. And like I said, at this age that we're at now, we all lose parents here and there. It doesn't matter what age it is when it happens. It's brutal. But Mr. Sherman was just a hell of a man. Quick story. I think it was Kenny's 10th or 11th birthday. He took probably a station wagon full of basketball guys. We all jumped in the car, no seatbelts, half of us facing the wrong way in the back. And we went over to Army Navy basketball. And I still remember it like it was yesterday. And that's just the type of guy he was, man. Great dude. And to the Sherman family, we all send our condolences.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for doing that, Tom. I will look to get his contact details from you so that I can so that I can send him a text or a voice
Yep.
message or whatever is possible. I definitely want to reach out to Ken. With that, and I, I feel a connection with everybody from our hometown, whether I knew them or not, which is why one of the reasons I wanted to do this show. So I'm very fortunate from that standpoint. But with that, we got, it looks like KQ is here.
What?
Yeah. KQ is here. Hello, KQ. Hello, love. Oh, somebody from KQ's house is here. Could be her. But right now, I want to introduce our special guest of the evening. This gentleman was my classmate with Mr. LaValle and with Marianne Schaefer as well from 9th grade up into the beginning of 10th. And then also when I came back in 12th grade and I returned to Hendrick Hudson. And he was always just a bright, funny individual, one of the leaders of our class. Somebody that people didn't want to mess with, but at the same time, he's probably the funniest guy that we had in class. And even if that particular joke wasn't funny, you were going to laugh anyway because it was Mark. So with that, he's become a very successful chef. A lot of people know that he was on Food TV Network's Chopped. He went to the Culinary Institute of America, which is not an easy institution to graduate from. The standards are extremely high. No one would know better than her colleague, Diane. And also tonight, we're going to talk UFOs, and Mark is going to tell us about his experience. If anybody's out there and you've had an experience and you want to chime in, come on into the chat and tell us your experience. We'll bring you on air so that you can tell it. But with that, let's bring on my brother from another, the Hen Hood class of 85's own Chef Marc LaMash.
Microphone too.
What's going on? Hey, what's happening?
Good to see you, Mark.
How's the sound? Not too loud?
You sound good, baby. Oh,
All
look
right,
at
man.
that brim, man. This is like what ZZ Top was singing about. With my New York brim and my gold tooth displayed. You know, that's what's
I'm
up,
working on
man.
a gold tooth. Amazon's out at the moment. There's some kind of a shipping problem.
Oh, you know what? We don't have KQ. We have Christine Catch instead. Wow.
Hey,
There
what's
you
going on?
go.
How you doing?
Good
Greetings,
to see you,
everybody.
Mark.
guys.
Likewise.
Yes.
I think I clicked on the wrong link.
No, well, you click. Oh, did you want to be on the show? You're on the show, Christine.
I
It's
know.
the home garden club. We're selling rakes and
No leaving now.
You're here, baby. So just, be ready to talk to my man, who I will not refer to as the masher this evening. It is LaMash.
that's it. Pulling the plug. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? How's the weekend winding down?
Rainy and stormy.
It's cold. Chilly
Yeah.
over here.
Wow.
Yeah, turn.
Good
I'm
in
not-
New
I-
York next week. If anybody's around, want to hang?
Oh, cool.
Sure.
We're going
Yeah.
for the month.
Oh, for a month.
St.
I'm
Louis.
gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
Mark,
be-
you're going to need to plan with us for when we have our next summer get-together so you can turn up for that. That would be really awesome.
And cook all the food. It'd be great.
Yeah, I'm open. We
And
usually
the-
go into New York in July for like a month.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and that, we may do it. I think we will do a July this year just because if we don't do a winter iteration, I'm going to really miss these guys. I'm going to be jonesing for a home real bad. So with that, Mark, first we want to get into the chef business, the cooking business. Then we're going to get into your UFO experience. Then I'm going to tell you what I have planned, and I'll just say it involves Bigfoot. But before we get into Bigfoot and all kinds of UFO craziness, let's go to food, and let me go to the host of this joint, Diane. Actually, we're going to try to make this so that you are the center. You are here, and
There he
we are
is.
here. There we
There
go.
he is.
Hey, what's going on?
I love it.
Hey,
Look
And
at
I'm
that
sorry,
handsome guy.
I'm going to take away that logo that's covering up somebody's face, so I'm going to get rid of
That
that.
would be me. How dare you?
Yeah, Stuart, you're way too good looking for that. We're going to get
Holding
get
the
rid of
anchor.
that. All right. So go ahead, guys.
Yeah,
Diane,
sure.
go ahead with your first chef question.
Yeah. So, how are you, Mark?
I'm doing good. It's a good
Yes,
day.
it's good to
Busy.
see you.
Yeah,
I love watching your videos and your Instagram. I'm really excited about what you're doing. You know, the new studio. I watched the tour of that, which is really cool.
yeah. Today was a whirlwind. Actually, I had all the crap, and it's like it's a matter of putting it up. And this room I'm in now, I'm in the sound room. It's like soundproofed in here, and there's like 6 cameras in here, but only one's working, and I'm working it through the teleprompter right now. So I got all this stuff. I just gotta find the wires and put that here and there, and then hopefully.
Jeez, Dave, maybe he has to host our show. He sounds like he's got some high tech stuff going there.
Yeah, I think Mark is far more prepared than we are, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Actually
That's
knows what
great.
he's doing.
So what's like your eventual goal with that? You want to do some online classes? Is that
There's basically 2 things going on. There's 2 studios in the house. There's a kitchen studio down there, multiple cameras and all that stuff too, and switchers and microphones and all that jazz. And I want to do live cooking down there and do like a Chopped-esque kind of thing, except it's live and interactive. And you can they can shout out and say, hey, no, use gummy bears. And I have you can't see it here, but I'll put it on camera. I put ingredients on this thing.
I love it. Super cool.
And just wing it. And they want to tip $1, whatever. I'm gonna do some promos on there, like stuff I use, and just send them to like an affiliate store.
Right.
Do that, and then the other one is with Amy. We're gonna be working on cooking courses, so like live interactive cooking courses, like packaged and stuff like that.
Nice.
Basic stuff like knife skills, and then like basic cooking skills, braise, baking, roasting, saute, and all that stuff, and then start going from there to like flavor profiles. If you understand like a continent's what they grow there and what they use there, you can kind of like start to get the the ABCs of like Chinese food, German food, and on and on and on. And so I'm really excited about maybe doing some classes that way. And then the upstairs one is going to be strictly non-food. It's going to be podcast, every topic you can think of.
Nice.
And I got the rig here is set up. I've got a soundboard where people can call in and do interactives that way and talk about topics. So I'm excited.
One of the tests I'm sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all right.
One of the tests I think of your cooking bona fides would be if you could teach Karathanassus to actually cook something that was reasonably edible. I think that really would be the litmus test for you.
I'm taking
Hey!
I'm
That's the
sorry.
last time you
She's
eat
a
more
good
here.
cook. I've eaten at her
Christine's
house.
so happy she joined us.
You know what?
I'm just kidding.
That's a
I wanted to
low
wake her
blow.
up, man. I wanted to wake her up, man. This is what you got to do. Got to ruffle. You got to. What do we need to do to make an omelet, Mark? We got to break a few eggs, man.
A couple eggs or be good at reservation.
Hey,
Speed dial.
speed dial, exactly.
Yeah. So what's the favorite food going around the table here? Who likes what and who doesn't eat lima beans?
I love them.
It's a
You know what?
military staple.
I told my kids when they were little that they were jelly beans, and they believed me.
Really?
There you go.
You're a liar, man. You can't do that.
Savory jelly beans.
I see counseling in their future.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
They're gonna cook late.
Oh my
Can't
God.
do that, Karathanassus,
I
man.
did it.
Dude, I'm gonna tell.
Where's everybody from, by the way? Where's you guys moved out of the Hen Hug
Let's see if we can do
area?
this. Okay,
Some
now we
of
can.
us did. I live in Annapolis, Maryland, and
Are you in
T-Bell.
food business still, or what are you doing?
I am, yes. So I have a personal chef business that I still do, and I do some online cooking for adults with disabilities right now,
That's cool.
which has been something I started in the pandemic, and that's been very rewarding. But I also do a lot of event planning, and I work for a marketing company too. So I have a bunch of balls I'm juggling. Still in the business though, just
That's cool. How'd you
not working behind the line anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah. last professional gig was in the height of the pandemic. I'm in St. Louis now
Yeah.
until we win the lotto. Then we're going to burn this thing down and move back. And it's a brick house, so we're going to need a lot of dough.
Yeah.
Or C4, Mark. We got to start off with. Yeah.
What brought you out there? What brought you out to St. Louis? I was curious.
Yeah, Amy's job. She working for Nestle. Big,
Yep.
She's up there with Nestle, and then I tell you, meet you in St. Louis. And she's like, so you want to move to St. Louis? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I don't care. I'm a chef. It doesn't matter where I go. And I take people. So, so we moved. If you're ever in St. Louis or in the Midwest, we got a beautiful house, nice guest rooms and stuff, and lots of. From my house, literally 5 minutes walking, we have like the equivalent of a Central Park, and then the other way we have Food Row. We have, Brazilian, roasted meats. We got Turkish. We got Indian. We got everything. Walking
Nice.
and a lot to see and stuff like that. You're just gonna have to wear like a bulletproof vest. Apparently,
Now, Mark, the only reason I moved us to this setup right here is because when I went to the other setup, the logo was blocking Tom's face, and I can't figure out how to get rid of
no
the
worries.
logo.
I was hidden behind the anchor.
Yeah, you were. And Tom's face it's just way too pretty.
I saw your eyes between the two H's.
Yeah, that's right.
All right,
So,
so
Mark, I'm in South Carolina. My wife and I were phys ed teachers, and she was in Wappingers. I was in Poughkeepsie.
Okay.
Coached up there for 30 plus years, and we retired to South Carolina about a year and a half ago. I just got down here full time in April. Mark, the question I have for you, I am dying to know, I knew from a very young age I wanted to coach. I wanted to be involved in sports. Mm-hmm. When did you know, you wanted to be a chef? You went to culinary? Did you go to the one in Poughkeepsie? Kind of take me through the timeline of how you got to where you're at now.
Well, in high school, the thing is, I want to do a lot of stuff. Like when I look at the college thing, or something that has classes and stuff like that, I want to take them all. Need it, got it, kind of thing. Yep. And I've always been passionate about cooking, going back to even when I was a kid.
Really?
When I grew up, everybody in the house worked, so you had to figure it out, or wait somebody like 6:30ish when someone came home and they would make you a proper meal. But I learned very quick that some things went really well, some things didn't go so well. Hot dogs and mud, not so good. Or you ran out of milk, so orange juice with Cheerios, no bueno. So but I kind of had a knack for it, early on. As far as being able to cook in general and having people say, "Hey, that's pretty good," So over the years, I would do catering gigs once in a while with friends that were chefs and help them out, and I enjoyed it. And I got to be creative about it. And I didn't go into it because I was, life sometimes has other objectives for you. Yeah. And or you think it does until life says no, you got to do this instead. So I went to school, tech school for plumbing and heating, and I was doing that. Okay. I actually worked with Todd Casablanca. I remember Todd Casablanca. Yeah, at a place in Bedford Hills, a plumbing supply house. And we did other jobs together too, throughout our childhood. We worked at the A&P. I was 14 years old, doing whippets in the back. And so that was a lot of fun. And then later on, we kind of ebbed and flowed in and out of our lives throughout the years, and we wound up working at Pergaments together. Remember
Pergament? Yeah.
Yeah, before home. Yeah.
Pergament, wow.
We used to do forklift racing and stuff. I put a car on the roof with the forklift.
You can't do that. I guess you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Years later. So that was kind of fun. But and then I was doing the plumbing and heating and sales and stuff like that, and I didn't love it. And when I would get sick, I thought it was a genius idea. When you get sick, you got to call in. That's the proper thing to do, right? And but when you're sick, it's usually in the morning. You're sick and you don't want to get up and call. So so what I did is I went out, I bought a fax machine, and when I was sick, I would just program it to go off at 6 a.m. And I'm sick. If you need me, call me. And apparently they didn't like this inventive way of doing it.
Oh my goodness!
So I got fired for the first time in my life, and I was very upset about it too. And sometimes your friends can bash you.
Fired for faxing out sick.
Yeah, I thought it was genius. I didn't have to get up.
This is so Marc LaMash. It really is.
Yeah, and then sometimes your friends are blatantly truthful for you when you start whining about stuff. And I had always talked about one day I'll go to the Culinary Institute. I'm gonna I'm going to learn how to cook. I'm going to get the chef thing and the big hat, you know, and make my way in the culinary world, right? And then I was whining about being fired, and Todd pretty much hit me right between the eyes with an Adirondack truth bat. And he, you're always talking about that bleeping school and the bleeping effing bleeping school, and why don't you shut your bleeping mouth and go to that stupid school you're always talking about? And I was like very motivated. He was like, I thought it was a Dale Carnegie class. I said, yeah,
Time.
do that, right? And so I got my car right then and there, and I like booked up to Hyde Park, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And sometimes, not everybody's self-esteem is always the best, especially when you're a kid. Life, divorces and all kinds of things that kind of wear you down and breaks a little edge of your self-esteem off. And as I'm driving there, I was starting to do the lotto dream. You ever had the lotto dream where you
all the time
you buy the lotto ticket and a lot of times I wouldn't even check it. It was just an excuse to have that dream about everything you ever wanted to do in your life. But then you start rationalizing, well, I'm not that good at math. I'm not smart. I can't drive. I'm not tall enough. I'm not skinny, fat, all down the line. And so as I'm driving there, I'm thinking about it, and I'm starting to deflate my self-esteem. I'm like, well, I'll just get the application and, bring it home, and then I'll fill it out and, and all this stuff. And so by the time I get there, I'm kind of like, I'm just going to get the application and go, and how that would have worked out in the end. I would have stared at it, the heading and maybe one day and throw it out. But while I was there, life said, not this time around, Mark. The lady behind the counter is like, hey, if you fill that thing out here now, we'll waive the whatever fee. And I didn't have any money on me at the time, so I was like, oh, crap. All right, I'll fill this thing out. And I sat down, I filled it out. I gave her to her, and then she's like, you got to write a 200-word essay why you deserve to come here. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, man? So what I did is I went home on my compact computer, and I don't even know if they exist anymore, on my main compact computer, Windows, negative 45 on this thing, and I'm like crafting this beautiful letter of a psychological, the best, way I can think of it, really kind of manipulate them into thinking I'm the best thing on the planet, right? And why I deserve and this, that, and the thing. And I sent it in, and now I'm kind of now my interest is peaked. I was like, hey, why aren't they calling me? And I wind up calling them, and yeah, we got your application, everything's great, but we need your essay. And I'm like, I said my essay. What are you talking about? And so now I'm really angry, And then I figure, okay, I'll just print off another one on the computer. And the finger of fate says, your compact shall die right now. And the hard drive died, and everything lost on there. And so now I'm really emotionally charged. And I took pen and paper, real pen and paper, and I wrote down, this is why I deserve to go. It's not the buildings, it's not the mortar, it's not the bricks, it's the people inside those buildings that count. And that's why I deserve to go in there, because it's the synergistic, learning experience and people with people. And it's not about the food, it's about what's happening with the food. And on and on and on. And it's very highly amped and passionate. And I got a call.
Baffled him with bullshit, basically.
No, I was dead.
Come on, guys. Light up.
They called me up, and you're in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's not very easy to get in there. I know that I was going to apply right after high school, and they were like, it's probably going to be 18 months. And I went to Johnson & Wales instead, because I said, I knew if I didn't go right away, I wasn't going to go. So but it's such a wonderful program. I went on a trip up there a couple times. I mean, and just, being in that business, it's such a prestige, and you respect it's almost like the military in a way,
It was very much,
you respect your other brothers and sisters in the industry, and you look out for one another, because it's a tough industry.
A lot of the military send their chefs there.
Can I interrupt real quick? Mark, can you say hi to our classmate that's in the chat, Danny O'Brien, please?
Hey, what's up, Danny?
Danny O'Brien, one of the homies, man, from class. What's up, brother? So I'm sorry to interrupt, but we got to get a little bit of a loop going here.
Yeah.
So that's from what I'm looking at, it would be Tom, Diane, myself, Karatha Nizzle, and Stuart. So, all right. So, Coach Tom is such a brilliant interviewer that he totally stole my question. And I was thinking, the inspiration behind you going to the CIA was your interaction with Miss Brule in home ec in ninth grade. So I don't know if that had anything.
I loved her class.
Wow.
That was me too. I loved everything about her.
But we also got in trouble with Tom Casablanca. We stacked all the plates up against the doors of the cabinet. So when you opened up, like 70 plates came out.
Oh my God, Todd! I just sent Todd a link for this YouTube and told him that if he wants to come on with you, he can. But but in any case,
I blame Todd for that. By the way, I was just keeping lookout.
No, I just texted him everything he said because that's so cool, and it's so Todd that he was the one who said, stop talking crap and go to this school, apply to the school already and stop talking about it, just do it.
Stop wasting my time with this.
Yes, stop wasting my time.
What are you doing?
But no, that I really like that answer. So it was kind of like you were looking at the landscape and going, this is something that I could be good. Yes, I hear you, Amy. We would like to bring in Todd, but he hasn't answered up. So right now, who knows? He could be like working on like a 12-ounce steak right now.
My goodness.
But in any case, Mark, so it's kind of like it sounds like you were looking at the landscape to see what would hit, and you said, okay, this could be it. But one thing I think that you probably couldn't have predicted, because a lot of people think, I can cook, and stuff like that. I think I could do this, but the pressure that's involved in it. Hey, there you go. Todd's here. So he said, I remember that, Mark. I owe you one, he said. So welcome, Todd. And if you decide you want to come on air, let us know, and I'll drop you a link. So yeah, say hello to Todd.
I'm gonna be in New York. Let's hang. Let's get some. Let's go get a. We'll go get a Reuben down the city.
There you go. He'll be when you showing up there, Mark?
Did you say a room or a Reuben?
Nah, a Reuben. A room with a view of a Reuben.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Crothanasis.
Where's your mind's in the gutter?
What are you doing? Clean that.
2 steps away. Someone's got to bring this conversation down.
Holy water.
I love Karathanasa. She should be a regular on this joint. Also, but anyway, Mark. So the pressure you couldn't have okay, so Todd does want to come on. You could not have predicted what was going to happen, how much pressure there was involved in being a chef that has to perform in front of instructors.
Yeah, I mean, it was totally different than what I thought it was going to be. I know when I was in the culinary, there's a couple of times, like I had German, hardcore German, French chefs that were just like bulldogs. Like they would have you come in and you have to get on a line, put your hand out on one guy's shoulder and line up down that way. And they would literally come down and look at your whites. And if you had a speck on there, you fail. Get out of my room. Get out of here. You fail. And you had to scream out anything they said to you, you would like, yes, chef, no chef. And
very Gordon Ramsay-ish, right?
Yeah. I actually got offered to do a job to be on there with Gordon Ramsay. They had people interacted with me through Instagram. It's like, no way in hell. That guy's going to wind up in a fryer. I did.
I'm going to dump his ass right
in the fryer, man. But but the culinary was definitely, I had a French guy take my food and he was just like, threw it on the ground. It's like, mirrored. And he kicked it across the room. And so if you can make it with, I don't know how it is now. It's supposed to be a lot better, or a lot different. Let's put it that way. I don't know what's better or worse, but they don't mess around. And if you could do it there, no way will phase you anywhere else.
It's formative, right? I mean, they've been doing it like this for 100 years, and so there's it's probably like making coaches, making football players, making wrestlers.
Yeah.
It's probably the same sort of experience.
The whole attitude was like, if you don't like it, leave.
Yeah, I say that. I tell people that about MotoGP racing, which is basically the Formula One of motorcycles. Mm-hmm. And when you get over there, guys will knock into you, and they may knock you off your bike. And basically, if you get, it's that, why are you mad, bro? You come in the garage screaming, and they'll say, look, if you're not ready to battle out on the track, maybe this isn't for you. you might be in the wrong business because
You might want to buy a Fisher Price product.
yeah, I mean, if you want to race motorcycles and at the international level, you better get ready to fall off your bike going very, very fast. And if you can't handle that, you don't belong there.
Yeah.
Let's pass it over to Karathanasis. Christine, are you still alive after the home ec joke or no?
Are you there?
I don't know if Christine passed on or not.
Let
Christine,
me
are
ask
you
a
there?
question, Dave. I'll take over quickly.
Okay, go for it.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm
wait.
here, but I'm not prepared.
All
I
right,
didn't do my
I'll-
homework.
Okay, we're not going to fire you on air. We'll wait till we're done. Go ahead, Stu.
Mark, it is good to see you.
Yeah,
Welcome to our little show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So you were on Chopped on TV.
Yeah.
I had an experience a couple of weeks ago where I ran into a chef who had been on a similar show with Bobby Flay. And I watch the show Beat Bobby Flay on a regular basis. So I was very curious as to, what's Bobby Flay like when he's, not on camera. And he had nothing but disparaging things to say about Bobby Flay after meeting him and being on the show. What kind of experience did you have with the people on Chopped?
I had a blast. I mean, initially I wasn't going to do it because my mom was going through some cancer stuff again. I had another show with Anthony Bourdain that I was supposed to do. Well, at the time, it was called, I think it was a failed show. I never even watched it. It was called The Taste or something like that. And so I went to Manhattan and I was going to do that, but my mom had gotten cancer then and I couldn't turn on the energy and stuff like that. So I was kind of like deadpan. But with the Chop thing, I had a blast. So I didn't care. I absolutely did not care. And if you watch, I wish they had the outtakes because what was the name? The lady, the mean one, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. I
She
can't
was
remember
especially who I
Italian
wanted to
name.
impress you because she seems like she.
I was freaking her out. I was freaking her out.
Guarnaschelli.
Yeah, because I knew how to make my food. I was making my food. I'm really good at ad lib and stuff. I do it at home all the time, and my job at the monastery, cooking for monks and all the guys there in my class, that worked in my kitchen from the rehab. So you had to be good at improvising on the fly, whatever you got, just roll with it. And so I was just calm about it the whole time. And I got my plate. It's 2 minutes left, 1 minute left. I'm putting my plate down. I'm cleaning the edge. 60 seconds. Put the stuff in there. Do my garnish. 30 seconds. And she's like, what the hell's going on? I don't know if you see it on there, but she gets up. She comes over. You gonna need help, man? I'm like, I got it. It's all right. Don't worry about it. And she called me out. She's like, so you watch the show a lot? I'm like, oh yeah. I never watched it at all. I totally lied. And Amy's sister, my wife's sister, and all of them watched it. And they bought a bunch of random stuff for me to cook, and we taped and everything. And we had a load of fun. But I never watched it. And she's like, "Oh, really? I don't believe you." But the overall, the only one that I had it wasn't even an issue. I think he had a lot on his plate. Is Elton Brown? No, what's the other guy? Ted.
Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Ted Allen.
Ted Allen. Yep.
He was just cold pan. He didn't want to interact at all.
Oh, really? He
Yeah,
seems
not at
like
all.
he would be a nice guy.
Yeah, you would think so, and he probably is. It's just that I don't know if he has to stay in the zone or I'm going to give him a pass on that. But
I have a quick question on that too, just to
Yeah.
go on, because that was one of my questions too that Stu answered. But did they prepare you at all? Like, hey, look, this is nothing,
not at all.
huh?
Nothing.
Yeah, I could never do that show. I'd be like, lost.
Crap themselves when I did something on a show. They just everybody went everybody freaked. The basket, they have. You guys watch the show? They have the basket, mystery basket and all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, here we go. We're gonna go. Are we going? I'm going. And then I prematurely opened the basket, and everyone like, whoa, what are you doing, man? And but there's a towel covering everything, so I didn't see anything. So
Come over
that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of whoa, there's the Godfather, Todd Casablanca.
Hey,
What's
Todd.
up, fellas and girls?
What's going on?
I still remember those plates in Bruce Filagamo's room.
That was
My sister was there. It was that breakfast. You bring a friend to breakfast. And my sister Cheryl came. She was friends with Miss Filagamo. I opened up that thing and all the dishes came coming out. I was like, oh my God.
Like dominoes. It was terrible.
Yeah, you were snickering in the corner.
I wouldn't want to know anything about that.
Yeah.
I remember my father came in. Remember he brought in all the stuff to make veal parmesan for like everybody.
Oh yeah.
$400 he dropped on that. It was crazy. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And the poor lady, every time she'd get upset, her eyes were literally connected to her mouth, and she, like every time. Could you put that down? Stop touching it. What are you doing? You know.
Todd, I want to say thank you for encouraging Mark to get off his ass and apply for the CIA and get his ass to school, because it clearly changed his life. And all of us need that person.
I owe everything to you, man.
Well, it was. I saw you had a passion. I remember the sandwiches you used to make your brother.
And, yeah, we did some stuff to my kid brother. We made him like terrible things to eat, like remember?
No.
Belly lint. You know?
Oh, and Mark, no.
Then we shut off all the
peanut butter, jelly, and hot sauce, and then hot sauce in his hot chocolate. Oh yeah.
And then shut off the water, and then as soon as you took the water in for the toilet, was okay, I'm gonna put in the water. Put in the water. It's gonna be all right. Don't tell Dad. That's gonna beat me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, you guys have some stories, man. You guys got to get together.
You remember?
God.
You remember getting AMP, Todd, with the car?
With what?
You remember getting shopping carts with the car?
Oh, yeah. And we went through the window of the pizzeria by the AMP.
The dry cleaners. It tossed it right through the window. Yeah.
You were using your Chevette. You had me sitting on the hood in the winter storm.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I was trying to help you out, you know?
Yeah. They were pissed.
Yeah, they were very angry. They did not have insurance for carts.
You remember when we got locked in the AMP on New Year's and we were eating the lobster and making sandwiches?
Oh yeah, I was making sales. And
everybody left. They locked us in. There was 7 of us, me, him, and a couple other people. He worked in the seafood department, and he just started steaming lobsters. We had beer on ice. We were making sandwiches from the deli. Nobody was coming to get us. We were just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. Dancing around, was wearing other like lobster dancing.
Shooting the bouillon cubes with the wrist rocket.
A wrist rocket. I used to have like bouillon cubes at the sign. And I made a bomb. Remember that?
Yep, with the 3-liter soda.
It was not good. Blew up everything on the stock shelf.
And then all the root beer froze to the ceiling in the icebox.
Yeah, it was bad. I feel really bad about it.
I don't have a lot of trouble visualizing that this happened. This has actually it really does come to mind. And Mark, let me ask you a question, Mark. Since we're at the AMP, and the seminal event was you walking across the street to the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to transition into UFOs at this point, or no?
Well, I don't know what it was. but
okay, whatever you saw. Do you want to describe what you saw?
Yeah, it was back. Todd, you weren't working there anymore. Yeah, but, it was towards the end of high school, I guess, or maybe it was a little after high school. I don't remember what the hell year it was. But it was that massive sighting that everybody in New York saw, or a lot of people in New York saw, and they couldn't debunk it because it was like judges, police.
Start from I'm walking across the street and then go like that.
I think it's like a weekend or a Friday or something, and my mother's going to pick me up to bring me up to Putnam Valley. So I just got to work. I'm walking across the parking lot to the Shell station, mobile station, and Basie and Freddie Salo and a bunch of those guys hanging out over there. I think Goosey's over there. And they're all sitting over there, and I see this huge thing flying, from Tinselite over the parking lot, and I don't know what it is. And it's massive, and it's got lights going around the perimeter. I thought it was the guys from Stormville, flying ultralights. And so it didn't bother me, but there was no sound. And as I'm walking over, I'm like, it's a blimp, it's a this, it's a that. And I got over there, and when I started getting over there, people stopped pumping gas. People were stopping on the highway. People on Welcher Avenue people were stopping under the bridge. Everywhere around me, People are stopping, and we're watching this thing, and I'm still like, it's a blimp, it's a this, and that. And then it went overhead, and when things like, I thought the sound would catch up when it passed me, It didn't catch up. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, it's something. It's it's definitely I wasn't saying it was a UFO at the time, but what it did, it's the part that when I freaked out, I was like, wait a minute, what the hell is that? Is when it stopped and then started sideways and it went on again. And by that time, John, my stepfather, had come and got me. We're in the car. We're driving north on Route 9 to go to Putnam Valley. And this thing is starting to go on a diagonal towards the Peekskill train station, going to like Roehook or Red Hook or whatever it is where the tanks are, like Camp Smithish area, going that way. Mm-hmm. And then it just starts to exponentially go faster and faster until it was just bizarre how it accelerated. It was like kind of like boom, gone. And now I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is. And then you find out the next day, like everybody's like, there was too many credible. It wasn't swamp gas, you know what I mean? So whatever it was, I have no idea. But that's my story.
And Todd, I just went to mute on your mic just temporarily because there was a lot of background noise. But let's go with Tom Bell. And what questions might you have for Mark about that UFO sighting? Because now we've got like 7 or 8 people from our senior class that have had sightings, either over Indian Point or elsewhere, or in the case of Audrey Hare, just passing over like Montrose and Han Hud, literally. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad I didn't see it. But was a wuss and still am a wussy. But no, it's just amazing. Like when something like that, you saw something like that. Like, what was your first? I mean, your first reaction obviously is like, "Oh my god!" But did you go tell people about it? Did you like?
Well, I didn't. Oh my god! First, I was just like, I started like, come on, let's be reasonable about this. It could be that, it could be this, and then when I start like Occam's razor, when I start, it's a blimp, it's a ultralight, and then I started like checking off. Nope, didn't make any sound. Nope, it didn't do an arc and a turn. It was just stopped and then laterally moved.
Just moved laterally as opposed to a roll like a wing form would do.
Never seen it.
Like the next day at school or whatever it was, or like wherever, like, is it something you went and told people about, and were they like, "Oh, you're crazy," or like, what was the reaction?
I remember telling family, and beyond that, Todd, did I tell you about that?
No, this is the first I'm hearing about it.
I think I told anybody about it. I mean,
because they probably wouldn't believe you anyway, right?
But the next day or so, you saw in all the papers, you saw everywhere,
Really?
everywhere. Because it was like I said, judges, like really highly credited. It wasn't like in the middle of the, and some
the dudes spilling out of Johnny Ritz that were drunk. It was actually people that were sober.
Poor amoeba standing on a corner. Well, I don't know, but I can speak to you. I don't know what's going on, but so it's crazy. And since then, I kind of like I read, and to be honest with you, I'm from Missouri, literally now, but
prove it to me.
Yeah, I don't go so much on the anecdotal stuff. I love it. It's titillating, and I love the stories. Don't get me wrong, I love the stories, but I like that. Give me the data. And when did we start saying data? Didn't we just say data?
Give me the data. Give me the data. Let me pass it to Diane because But by the way, just for the group, I know a lot about this topic. Obviously, I have a show that covers this topic. And I'm fortunate to get on a lot of really smarter people than I am to speak about this topic. And Mark knows a lot, but let me pass it to Diane.
Oh yeah, I don't know a lot about it.
Do you have a question? For
I just no. I was just going to say I listen to Dave a lot, but I have to say, it would be really cool if we had cell phones back then when we had these sightings, because we really could know exactly like what these things were. Yeah. We just had something here. I did a wedding last weekend, and there was something in the sky, and we were like, "What is that?" We thought it was a comet. Like everybody was out, like looking at it. We were like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And I guess it was SpaceX, but it was one of the coolest things I've ever saw because it actually looked like a spaceship. Wow. If you really thought about it, you're like, "That's probably what it looks like," because the glow was coming from the back, and that's probably my closest experience. Mm-hmm. Besides what in 1976 or 75 when Con Ed blew up. That was probably my other experience.
I was at Carvel and Croton.
That was some night.
There's not a lot of nights.
Question. since you're, an
I was
expert.
going to go right to you. Go ahead. Yeah.
So why doesn't something like this gain traction? So, Mark sees it. A lot of people see it. It's in the news, and then it's gone. Why doesn't
is this
like that gain
question for me?
Yeah, for you. Yes.
Because I just had a guy on a couple of weeks ago. Kaz probably doesn't know about this, but I had on a guy from retired CIA operative who had an experience himself, like in his bedroom. And what he says is that basically it's not politically or socially or civically, if you want to say it, expedient for the government to come out and say, hey, guys, here's what's going on. We have things that are traversing our skies. We can't control it. We can't stop it. We don't know what it is, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. They're not doing anything that you need to worry about. So that's A. And B is what I believe when I asked this gentleman, what do you think they actually know about this topic? And he says, I think they know more than we do, but I don't think they know a lot more than we do. They don't understand what it is. So how do you come before the American people and say, okay, we don't know what it is, but don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And by the way, it can fly anywhere it wants over the continental United States, and there's not a damn thing we can do. So in the absence of being able to explain it, I think they look at it as to instill, to retain public trust. Mm-hmm. We'll just keep it as, hey, keep it very, very quiet. Mm-hmm. There is legislation. The National Defense Authorization Act for 2023 has 31 pages of 130 pages have to do with collecting UFO intelligence from the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. Going all the way back from 1947, that rings bells for somebody like Mark because he knows that's Roswell until now. But other than that, you don't hear about it. Unless you're a UFO geek like me, you don't hear about this stuff. Yeah. So that's my answers too. Unless Mark wants to weigh in on that.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mark.
Please, that makes sense.
I just want to see, I'd hate to have one of these, like the little guys, the grays. Do they wear contacts? And how hard to put in? How do you get the contact in? Just something I was always wondered.
I mean, jackets. I mean, there's a lot of issues.
Yeah. Flip flop, have toes. I don't know.
It's the same thing. I'm gonna bring it up here since this is sort of as good an area as any. But you guys know, the last year and a half I've been doing a UFO show. I've had on more people than I ever thought I would ever get to come on the show in over a decade of podcasting. But I had no understanding or idea of this thing that we know as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I'm thinking this is like a lore. This is like a couple creatures out there. And Mark and I spoke about this out there. Yeah, Gigantopithecus, something out in California, but not something that you would see in Somers, for example, where there's 3 sightings of it in Somers, including a Somers police officer. In any case, when you hear about 1,200 or 1,300 first-person accounts that I've heard on 2 different podcasts from 49 of 50 states, with the one outlier being Hawaii, you know that this creature exists. It interacts with hunters and hikers all the time. I have heard
loggers,
badass
boulders.
I have heard badass hunters and hikers such that went to Hen Hud with us talk about, I pissed on myself when this thing was standing in front of me. And they have no problem telling you that because they know you would do the same thing. So it's not in the right. It's not in the government. It's not in the government. I don't agree with this because I think if you're going camping, hunting, hiking in a national or state park, you need to know that the staff there is aware that these things are there and sees them. You should not be going in with your family camping, hunting, hiking in the state or national park and then just go, oh, wow, yeah, we knew about it. We just don't have any signs up. So anyway, that's my little spiel on Sasquatch, and it ties right neatly into UFOs.
But Dave, I mean, there's been, Native American lore going back hundreds of years. There's been cave drawings with large creatures. I mean, Bigfoot isn't just new. It's just being spoken about more because I think everybody was afraid if you talked about it, people would think you're crazy, like Mark. But it's been around for a long time.
You're 100% right. Everything you said is correct. But if you go around to where Christine was coaching soccer in Somers and you head out and talk to the parents on the sideline and say this, they're going to think you're, to use a British term, they're going to think you're a nutter. And you're not, because it's real. So.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in it. I believe in UFOs. I mean, it's such a large universe we live in.
Yeah.
To think that we're the only life form, kind of conceited.
Yeah. I
How
agree
about
with
no?
that. Absolutely.
No.
How can we
Definitely.
think that we're the only ones that we're not that intelligent?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the planet with the dummies. Make me a monument.
We grew up in Lake Peekskill, Mark, me and you.
Yeah, Mike does.
And I'm going to go, I was going to tell you guys this on the pre-show, but there's been some sightings here that the military owns more of the property in Northwest Florida than anybody privately owns. It's a huge swath. The fighters guys use it. The special ops guys use it. The special forces guys use it. The Alabama Guard uses it. The Rangers have part of their school is here. So in any case, there's a huge expanse of forest. I don't know how many miles it is. But in any case, they've been spotted on that range, which is not inhabited by humans. And myself, a retired Navy SEAL, and two guys that I flew with in the Air Force, we are going on an expedition. We are scouting for a location right now. We actually found a location, and then today one of the guys went out there on motorbike and said that my car, my Subaru, even though it's lifted and all that, probably would get scratched by branches trying to get in there. But I did have a remote viewer, and Mark knows what a remote viewer is. He can kind of explain it to whomever doesn't know what a remote viewer is. She looked at the area, and she said, yes, they inhabit an area just east of where because we gave her the coordinates of where the campground was going to be. And she said, they're there, and just make sure you bring, this will resonate with Todd, bring tobacco as a gift, because that's something that the Native Americans used to give them. And then she basically gave me like 4 or 5 rules to follow. So I told our little team of 4 guys, hey, these are kind of suggestions that I have. But anyway, Mark, what do you think about that with the remote viewing and so forth?
I think it's wild. I mean, I've read stuff on it. I've seen stuff. I actually downloaded the original manual about 15 years ago on it. I'm still trying to find out where the hell I put it. I gotta get a remote viewer to find my remote manual.
But explain what it is to the group. Explain what it is.
Like astral projection, you leave your body and you go. Like that's how they got some. They presume we got hostages out from. We found out where they were by as the manual says, they sent their consciousness there. And there's a couple of big time. The government uses them. I mean, these guys got paychecks, from the government, and they're not going to just they're not there for the coffee. So it's still like magic to me. But it's apparently we're doing something with it. So
there wasn't the guy who ran the program was a guy out of Stanford named Hal Puthoff. Yeah, and the CIA ended up hiring his students. And they had an over 70% success rate. But to give you an example of something they did, they gave one of the students the coordinates of a GPS coordinates of a location that was in Russia. And they said, what is distinctive about this location? And when he looked at the location, he said there are large dirt piles around it. It is like an aluminum kind of a building, like the corrugated aluminum roof and sides. And there's a large crane outside the building, sitting on the side of the building. And they looked at that with a satellite and said, it's dead on. Couldn't have known that, but for him being able to remote view. And I want to tell you something about the remote viewer named Julie who did this for us about Sasquatch. And you guys can take from this what you will. There was a couple of weekends ago where I woke up A lot of you guys know that I had a hip replacement recently, right before I came to New York, about 2.5 months before I came to New York. And I woke up on a Saturday morning, and somewhere like where my femur is, so my thigh area, I had so much pain that I could not walk. I had to use my hands and feet to get to the car, to take my dogs to the forest, and I was in excruciating pain. Now, when I say pain, I mean worse pain than anything from the hip surgery. Like anything. Because even with the hip surgery, I could walk. It was just really awkward trying to teach myself to walk, but I didn't have intense pain. I didn't even use the narcotic they gave me after the first day.
Yeah.
So I contacted this woman in Alabama, the remote viewer, and in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I had no pain. I said, I think I'm going to go to the gym and ride my bicycle there.
That's wild.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
She's in the UFO community. So basically the UFO Twitter community that basically feeds me all of my guests and topics and everything. It's a bit of a messy place, but as the Bigfoot community is, of which I had absolutely no knowledge of until about a month ago of the Bigfoot community. But anyway, that's how I met her, is through there. And we had a meetup of Floribama, Alabama, Florida, and that's how I met her in person. And so now I have contact with her, and I know that she's somewhat of a healer, but I didn't expect that in an hour and a half, when I couldn't walk on it. I can't tell. I wanted crutches. That's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just gone.
That's pretty wild. As far as UFOs go, we had a big sighting here at a football game last week at a high school.
In Missouri?
Yeah. I don't know the area. I know the area is like just a couple of minutes from here, but I never, it's called Wentzville. And they got video of all these kids freaking out in front of the high school, and they show it. And it looked like it wasn't like a tangible, UFO shape. It was like this smeary, rainbowy looking thing. And the kids are like losing their minds, screaming all over the place. I was trying to find a video of it without the kids screaming, but I apparently, I couldn't find it. So
I'm gonna send this. I'm gonna put it in our chat. Everybody here has access to this chat, so I'm gonna get this link for you guys and stick it in the chat here.
Okay.
Let me get this. Everybody here, just look for private chat on the right, and everybody that's here on the broadcast right now has access. I'm gonna put this link in there. So this right here, Missing 411: The Hunted, is on Amazon Prime. So everybody here, if you have that, you can watch it for free.
Okay.
And it is a fascinating case. The first case, as Christine knows, is from Horicon, New York, up where her cabin was at. A missing 82-year-old hunter. Absolutely fascinating. I don't know that there's a UFO connection, but anyway, any of you guys that watch it and want to discuss it with me, please give me a call. Tom, do you have anything? I want to go around again.
Food clip?
While you were talking, Mark, I was just Googling that UFO sighting, and I found pictures of it. September 23rd, 2022. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I should check that out.
Yeah.
Wettsville, Missouri. Quick question for the two of you. Todd, you can answer this one as well. It's great to see you, man.
You too, Tom.
When you guys think back almost 40 years, believe it or not, like Hen Hud, like, what does it mean to you? The community, the area, obviously it's home, but what rings out about Hendrick Hudson to the two of you guys?
Karathanausis, if you're making noise with the silverware, stop it.
Sorry. Sorry.
Go to mute. Go ahead.
Doing the dishes during the show. My God.
I've actually gotten a lot done. I've gotten the laundry done. The dishwasher's empty.
You're still unable to. You're still unable. She's unable to focus on one task, just like our phone calls. Nothing's changed, but I love her nonetheless. Go ahead, Todd.
3 knives and a spoon.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure those spoons are clean. Go ahead, Todd.
I think basically for me, just this right here. 35, 40 years later, we're still talking. Just a couple, 3 weeks, a month ago, Chris, Dave, we were all down at Paradise. We had a good meal. We're laughing. Merle was there. Everybody was there. And then we went over to a bar and we had some drinks. And it was almost like 30 or 40 years didn't even happen. You know, it was almost like school again. You know, it just brought back some really good memories.
That's
It
a
was
good answer,
great.
sir.
And
Wait,
you know
on the
what?
lawn
Todd,
was on. You remember? God, remember? That poor kid, we rolled out of the car, we were still going, like, tuck and roll, kid. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Lord, sprinklers are going.
Hey, Christine had something. Go ahead, buddy.
I know. I was just going to talk about the barbecue that who organized that. Beloff
Yeah.
barbecue down at George's Island. That was great, and it was people from every class, and there were a lot of people there. I wasn't going to go to it, and I happened to be stopping by, like driving by. I'm like, let me pull in, and I'm glad I did that. I saw a lot of people that I might not have necessarily seen when it's just like our smaller group when we get together in August. It was good. It was nice.
Yeah, that was nice because, like you said, the different grades were there. You know, so we got to see people. You know, a couple people older, a couple people younger.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Well, guys, I'll be there in I think July. We hit it up.
We will.
Weeks.
We're gonna set that up, Mark. We're probably gonna go. I'm gonna shoot for July this year and see if the quorum.
And Dave, you
can.
come here, man. I got a big house. Just fly in.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, brother.
That's good.
I want to say to Todd though.
I'll spoil it.
We're going. I want to say to Todd that probably anybody that spoke to me about that weekend, the highlight of the weekend for me was yourself and Benny Panessa and Vinny, because we hadn't seen you at one, and that you guys showed that there isn't a clique. We're just the school is a clique, the whole school, and so it meant a lot to me personally that you guys came, and I can't wait till the next one.
It was great. Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was fun. It was fun. I miss Mark. You know, he moved out to Missouri, wherever the hell he lives. But I miss you, you big dumb bastard. You know I love you.
I'm gonna be there in a week. Let's go get something to eat.
Oh, by the way, you still owe me a winter jacket. You remember what you did? How you ruined mine, right?
That was a natural disaster.
You're a natural disaster. Yeah,
right,
explain, Mark. Explain how you ruined my brand new jacket. I got my ass beat by my mom.
I made
Todd, Mark, you're gonna have to come up with a jacket when you get to New York. Let's just say it on air.
Went down. We're brand new, right? They just came on the scene, and I feel a little embarrassed. I don't know. I'm kind of shy about this. See how I'm talking to people.
No, you're saying it. You did it. You say it. Let's go.
I used to do this thing where I would spray my arm down with Lysol and wait till like dark time when people are coming home, and then light my whole arm on fire and wave to them. I had a bucket of water near me, so as soon as it started to tingle, I would put it out in the water, tamp it off, and then spray it up with Lysol again, and then and just wait for the car going home, and they would freaking out. And we would just chuckle, you know, little innocent pyro fun. But, Todd had this brand spanking new puffy, you know, like I said, down jackets were like, and he was standing in front of me, and with a flaming hand, I just touched his back, and it melted the layers together, and he had my handprint on the jacket, but I didn't tell him.
I didn't know until I got home.
Oh my God.
Then I found out real fast.
His mother found out.
That's
Yeah,
great.
she beat the crap out of me.
You caught him.
We got to get Stuart in here when he gets back, because we haven't heard from Stuart in a while. This is fascinating, though, Diane. Go ahead,
All right,
buddy.
so I have a question. I have a question for Mark. So this whole, your shenanigans just kind of sparks a question for me.
Oh, man,
Being a chef, working in a kitchen, what are like some of like practical jokes that you played on either your sous chefs, your waitresses, or like what kind of chef are you in the kitchen? I grew up. My dad owned a restaurant for a while. And some chefs are ornery, and you just don't talk to them. You go to your expediter, or you stay out of their way. What kind of chef would you describe yourself as? And your
what kind?
jokes?
Yeah, what kind?
I was so caring. I would hug everybody. Touch your earlobes. Are you ready to cook some stuff?
I find that very hard to believe, Mark. My bullshit meter's going off.
Yeah.
I actually have a picture of what kind of chef Mark is. When he was working up at the Graymore,
Fake news.
they took a picture of him laying in the sink. Must have been really hot that day, and all his
Mark!
workers were around him.
What the hell were you doing laying in the sink?
Were they giving him a bath?
I think I'm
No, thank God he has clothes on. It spooked me a little bit.
Was that a bubble bath?
OSHA said I could do it. I don't know.
I can detest. I've seen that picture, and it's an amazing picture. Like that should be like
I need
the
to see that
the
picture.
face of like your podcast or whatever you're doing. 'Cause It's such
Yep.
a cool picture.
And everybody had left anyway. And I sanitized the whole thing. I swear to you. After I was done, took about a couple of minutes to get my ass cheeks out of the steel. But it was
with Lysol.
yeah, like all the salts. Everybody goes on.
Christine was determined to bring the show even lower, and thank God she's done it. She's been so successful. Somebody, there's T Bell.
Hey.
We lost T Bell, but he's back. Hi, Tom.
Someone's
Yeah,
got
I'm
to
back.
do it.
No, but
Someone's gotta
getting
do
back
it.
to your question though, I wanted to have a good time there because the guys that worked in my kitchen, and it was all men, is that I worked at Graymore, the monastery in Garrison, and on the grounds they have a rehab for alcohol and drugs, and everybody that worked in my anybody that worked in my kitchen was in that program. So there was no hired people; it was all people trying to get their lives together, and so every 90 days I would teach these guys from zero how to use a knife and then on to cooking, and making stuff. So I had 90 days to go from zero to fully blown cooking and stuff. And you give love, you get love. You know what I mean? But there's some people. I also had some murderers come through there, and
Wow.
and you got to be tough too. So I had a lot of fun, but I was firm with it. I was tough when I had to be tough, but most of the time, I was pretty laid back. We had a lot of and I would mess with them all the time. I'm like, hey, I need the steam bender. And you go to the Todd knows some of these they're all plumber jokes, right, Todd? Go give me the number 3 steam bender. I do this souffle. We need more whoop in there.
Although
Go
I do got to admit, Mark, the few times I snuck in there, those guys really loved you. They appreciate what you were doing. For the most part, you always had one guy who's he is what he is.
Yeah,
But for the most part, those guys really talk well about you.
They would come back years later, and I lost a brother to drugs and alcohol, an older brother, John, and I didn't take the crap. I saw through for the nonsense, and I called him out on it. I said, "You want to die? Do what you got to do, but you're gonna have to leave the kitchen." So, and then
John was
years later, and hey, man, and I don't remember what the hell I said to him, but it was probably passionate, like the thing I said with the culinary. And they come back, hey, man, you said that little thing, and it really kind of like knocked me in the head, and they're still sober and good to you.
Nice.
I totally expect that. I totally expect that people would like you and respect you, and that you would be cool like that. There's Amy said, "Gets hot in the kitchen, baby." That's Amy and Danny O'Brien. I got an announcement from Danny O'Brien. Danny, anybody who wants to go to the local Buchanan Engine Company clam bake, Danny has 10 tickets to sell. Hit Daniel O'Brien Sr. up on Facebook, and he will sell you those tickets. And it kind of reminds me of The Wanderers, where when Richie ends up knocking up that girl, and her father goes, "Hey, Richie, we'll go to City Island for some clams." So anyway,
Yeah, east side for me and Todd, right?
The Wanderer.
Yo, Lower East Side.
Hey, Todd, remember when we hop in the compactor?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
he became a cop later on. And
you were such a bad influence on me. No wonder I turned out like I did.
this kid, we're at the A&P, we threw this kid in the cardboard crusher, and we let it go down until it just about to hit his face, and he was screaming blood, like baby seals screaming. It was terrible. And
it was like Star Wars when that happened with Luke and Leia and Han Solo. The same thing happened.
It was Mark's idea, just to let everybody know. It was Mark's idea.
Right now, T-Bell's going, I totally know why I wasn't hanging out with these guys in high school. This was there was a very good reason that this did not happen.
What happened was that kid, and we stopped it. He didn't die, obviously. I had to clean it up.
But thank God.
But later on, years later, Todd is like bouncing at, what was that place down at train tracks apart?
Kelly's.
And I'm like hanging out, I'm just talking to him, and this cop comes up and he comes over, and Todd says, "Hey, do you remember this guy? Tell him a story." And then he takes his Glock out and he puts it right up to my head. It's like, "You're the guy that threw me in the compactor."
He was also a sniper in Iraq in the Marines. John.
We had a big enough time. He's gonna miss me.
His PTSD is not from Iraq; it's from you and Todd. Let me
It
get
probably is.
Let me get Stu Muir in here because he hasn't talked in like 15 minutes or more.
Not much room to squeeze in here, honestly.
I know. I'm creating space for you, man. Pretend we're in yoga class. We're making space.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say to Todd, who was at the our dinner over in Verplanck. My son had a great time talking to you. He showed up out of the blue and he sat at the table with you and Benny. He said he had a great time talking to you. So thank you for putting up for a drunk 21-year-old.
I love you guys.
Dude, it was awesome, dude. Those guys, the three of them,
Yeah.
they really had their stuff together. They were good kids. They ate a lot of pizza, though. I had to slow it down.
Hey, slow the fuck down. We got a lot of people to feed here.
So, Mark, we had Dan Glickman on. We had Dan on last month, and he put a book out about his adventures going to different churches throughout the country. Are you putting any kind of book out? Have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, my book's the title's gonna be Forking Around.
I love it.
Nice.
And it's gonna be like a semi-biography. It's gonna have a lot. There's gonna be pop-ups in there, like that's words, right? So I have a pop-up book. Part of it. This is a pan.
You are absolute fire. I just want to say, Diane, I submit that as guest co-hosts to come on for any other episode, Todd and Mark have got to be in the mix, man. Even for Athanasis, for good.
Well, I will say, Mark, I have voted your name. Your name was in the hat from the beginning with me. I said we got to get him on. He's hysterical. He's got a good vision. He's got
3 crayons from a full pack.
Yeah, no, I love it. You're gonna do a lot. I can tell. Like, this is even just the beginning for you. You're gonna do really, really well. I love your passion for everything. I love your stories. You guys are so funny. Todd and Mark.
No.
So he has to be on the
that-
podcast. He should be your little sidekick.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, Mark, Todd, the fact that you put somebody in the trash compactor makes you all that much more endearing to all of us.
Todd, do you remember forklift surfing?
Oh, yeah, I do. We remember the drag racing in Walmart and what was it?
Pergament.
We used to drag race the forklifts. Then we got caught by the DM.
I think I worked there as well. Was that at the Westchester Mall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked there too. I did.
You remember Scott Santilli? He looked like Underdog.
I don't remember any of the management. I remember the Panis people. I remember that there were some Panis people I met there. I remember having a good time there, but that's about it.
Can I tell
worked
you
in flooring.
Pergament's interview for the job?
What?
Do you remember I told this story? I was late for the interview. Right? Whatever, That's me, baby. I love watches too. I've never been on time in my life. But anyway, I'm going to have an interview for a Pergament job, and I'm rushing around, and I got this new gizmo back in the day, when microwaves were the size of a Wisconsin. That thing it was for nuking eggs, like poaching eggs in the microwave. Wow, save me so much time. But apparently, got to do things with toothpicks and stuff like that, which I did not do. And then, so ding, 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 the thing's done. It beep, beep, beep comes out, and it's time to eat. I put it on my little English muffin. I bite into it, and like a napalm explosion of molten yolk all over my face. And I'm burnt to hell. Burnt. So I'm like, holy shit! I gotta get some ice. I got ice in my face. I'm trying to drive the car between the ice blocks and stuff like that to get to the interview. And I make it to the interview, and there's like bad cop, good cops. Santilli was the good cop, and this other guy was a jackass, and he was like, he was busting my balls. And I'm in agony. I am in so much pain. And at one point, I'm like, what the? I started like, yeah, you got any more freaking questions, dumbass? Like, you're gonna ask stupid questions. And I was like, you know what? Take this job, stick it up your ass. I'm out of here. And then the next day they call me, you got the job.
Hey, Mark, do you remember the story in Pergaments? Tommy will appreciate this. It's with George Boyle. George Boyle was our boss on the loading dock.
Wow.
So they didn't give me my check. I pushed the rolling staircase up, snuck into the office, grabbed my check, and I left a boot print on the desk because I climbed up over the wall, stepped on the desk, got down, got my check.
I remember this.
They called all of us from receiving up one by one to check our boot treads.
Oh my
So I wore a size 10. George had a size 12 back then.
Yeah.
So they call me. George goes, take my boots. I'm wearing George's boots, and I'm walking up to the front. And Satilli looks at me and goes, well, it couldn't have been you. We checked these boots already. And I walk back. And George is like, how'd it work? I'm like, it worked great, George.
That's great.
Oh man, very out of character, and I'm very surprised by this behavior. Terrible. I'll tell you what, you guys are absolute fire, and we got to have you back on the show, particularly when her Athanasius is not like drying off the silverware.
Hey,
it could have been laundry. She said she did laundry too.
But then laundry doesn't make noise. You know, she should spray some Febreze on her undershirts. So anyway,
hey, she's a woman. She's a multitasker.
Exactly.
To say the least. When I'm on the phone with her, I'm like, so yeah, and Christine, and she'll be like, oh yeah. I'm like, Christine, do you even know like what I said? I'm multitasking. I'm multitasking right now. So singular attention is not something that she does.
I'm not good at that.
Rest her phone and like put it in like a safe somewhere. Anyway, let's have like parting shots, starting with Diane. Any parting shots? Unless you guys got other topics.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really have enjoyed this. This has been super funny. I'm like cracking up. I'm gonna go tell my husband he has to watch this, the rerun, because he'll get the biggest freaking kick out of this.
Mark is fire, man.
I know, I love it. So the one thing I ask most people, some weeks or some months I get it on, so I don't. But so, and I gotta know what your affiliation still is with this. But my question that I normally ask people is that, so you're in the Peekskill coffee shop, right? And if you could sit and have a coffee with someone
doing shows at 2 and 7
from like our area, somebody who you really like to go back and who would it be and what would you ask them? And do you still own that place?
Which what are we talking about? The coffee house?
Yeah, the Peekskill Coffee. Didn't you own that? The Peekskill Coffee Shop?
No, I wish I owned it. I spend a lot of money there.
Because you always
you should own it.
Yeah.
He just rented a table.
Yeah, I got my name on a brass plaque under one of the chairs over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
It's probably still warm a little bit.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so you're going there, and let's say who would you?
I have a round table of people that I meet. I have a friend of mine. I got a lawyer friend, a doctor friend, an ex-cop friend, and we talk about everything from Leica cameras and binoculars and space, art, history.
Nice.
It's like a real eclectic. We talk about everything. We talk about. I just finished another book on Native Americans. We were talking about tribes and moving around and how we screwed them. This wasn't cool.
Wow, that's great.
So yeah, I get it. I'm not included in that. Stuart, no, I'm just kidding.
Got another chair here.
Go ahead, Stu. What parting shots for? I almost said Todd Casablanca. I forgot the guest is Marc LaMash.
Mark has been overtaken, obviously. Usually, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came on. Todd mentioned earlier about how it was great to hang out with everybody, and for me, it's like just exactly what we're doing right now. It's like when I get together with everybody, I don't think I'm 55 or 56. I think I'm 18 and 19 again. And then, this has been a perfect example of what it's like because we're all thinking that we're all 18, 19 again. And it's great. So it's great to hear. It keeps us young. So I enjoy it thoroughly. Mm-hmm. So thank you guys.
I love Peter Pan. Oh.
This is a gift. This is Diane's idea. And thank God she came up with this idea. Because It's everything that Stuart said. I won't be able to say it any better than him. Todd, do you have any parting shots for Mr. LaMash? And will you join us again as a guest co-host?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great time. It was good to see everybody. Some people I saw before, but like Diane, I haven't talked to in forever.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
And Mark, when you come down, I want to go to the Lower East Side, or we'll go hit Chinatown.
Sounds good to me, brother.
And Chris, I can't wait to see where you're going to end up next. It's like, where's Waldo? Where she's at a country show one time, she's over here, baseball game. She's over there, she's bing bang bang.
I had such a great summer. I love the fall, but I don't want this summer to end and it to get cold. I just really enjoyed this summer. It was loose and fancy free. For sure.
To steal a line from Marlo Thomas, she's that girl, if you remember that show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's an empty nester. She doesn't have nothing to worry about.
The Mary Tyler.
Except the college bill.
Except for the college bill. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm trying to spend everything now. Don't leave anything for my kids.
There you go.
Well, somebody said a long time ago, like, what are you going to do? Take it with you when you die? So go have fun with it.
Exactly.
I'm going to eat it all.
Take it with you.
Yeah, you already paid University of Montana a lot of money. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, can I put a shot for something?
Go ahead, sir.
Can I do a plug?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got a YouTube station, a YouTube channel that I need 1,000 subscribers so I can go live. I'm ready to go live with the show, but it won't let me. It's like 1,000 subscribers, and it's a blog. And you'll know when you see my mug on there that you got the right channel.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on screen, Mark, so go ahead and give it to me again.
Yeah, what's it called?
Yeah, it's go to YouTube and just put in The Chef Blog.
Chef
Mark,
Vlog.
also, make sure you put it in our group chat on WhatsApp.
Okay,
I will.
Yeah, and just let everybody know what you need.
I will do that.
No,
we got to add Mark to that group.
Interactives. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be like the nighttime Chopped. You know what I mean? A little blue, a little happy, a little rainbow.
Yeah. Are you gonna be singing naked in the apron again?
If Karathanassus doesn't bring it there, we got Todd. So we're good.
He did it for my birthday. I was overwhelmed. It brought tears to my eyes.
Or were your eyes burning?
My wife is like, don't take that down. Don't do that. What the hell's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
I laughed my ass off, dude. I showed everybody.
I kept the nipples under.
Oh
I know you did. You kept it PG. It was good. It was good.
All right. I'm going to send this to Mark right now. So, Mark, you have this invite to WhatsApp. And when you accept this, you download this app, stick it on your phone. You'll be on there with we got 45 of us, including everybody on the screen, including Todd. There's a whole bunch of your classmates that are on there, and it's our group chat. So join up in there. Okay?
And if you guys want to see any cooking videos or anything else, check out my Instagram. It's just but it's just Chef Blog. I do all kinds of cooking videos and just goofing off and having a good time.
And again, Mark, put that in the group chat, and Dave, we should make sure we get it up on the Hen HUD Facebook page.
I will do that. I will make sure all of that happens, ma'am.
Sounds good.
Got you covered.
Had a great time with you guys.
All right.
All right.
It was great.
It was
Mark.
great seeing you, Mark, and good
Thank
luck
you.
with all of your endeavors.
Thank you. I'll see you guys soon, maybe over the summer.
Wait a minute. Before you say goodbye, can I get a word in here, Mark?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, be quiet there, Blonde Ambition. Mark.
I know. I think you got a new host there.
I do, yeah. Mark, it was awesome having you on. I told these guys as soon as we had our last conversation that you were going to be absolute fire. You were absolute fire. And we barely let you off the leash. Todd, I think, had you on the choke collar. But but yeah, we'd like
ears would bleed.
we'd like to
get the ginger away. Shut the channel.
We'd like to get you back for another episode as a guest co-host on something. Both you and Todd also. And like I said, Christine, whenever she has the silverware already dried, and I understand she's trying to save from using the dryer mode on the dishwasher. I get it; it's a lot of energy. But anyway.
Hey, I gotta. You know what? I got a lot going on, and I gotta get things done when I can.
Yeah,
You know what? Curling iron. I get it, man. You look great. You look almost as good as I don't look. But anyway, man, it was amazing to have you, Mark, my classmate. And we should have had you on when Mr. LaValle was here, but we will get Mr. LaValle.
Are they retired somewhere?
He was on the show.
I mean, is he still working?
No, he's retired, but he bought a Harley. He's riding. He's having fun.
Did he put like AstroTurf in his house, like with the yard, written on there and stuff? I mean, is he still around there? Like sleeps in a football bed? Anyway,
I don't know.
Forever.
No, you will. I mean, you can watch a past episode of the show. You'll see Mr. LaValle.
Baseball. Sorry.
What's that?
Who was the one that did football, Todd?
That was Coach Egg.
Anna Carrico.
Sorry.
Coach LaValle did wrestling, and if you remember that when there were unruly persons in his class, he would invite them down to the dome for boxing to settle the score. Yeah, Mr. LaValle was awesome. He's on a past episode of the show. He'll be back either as a co-host or a guest. He also was fire, and it was all I could do to keep from like tearing up, just since he was very formative for people like you and myself. So anyway, on behalf of Tom Bell, Stuart, Todd, Christine, the host, Diane Malice, and our guest, Chef Marc LaMash, this is Dave San Marco saying peace out, one love. We'll see you down the road. And as always, we're wondering what's up around the bend.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Take care.